Good morning, you guys. Welcome back to Rocket City Yardstead. My name's Sarah, if you happen to be new. So I went on a little bit of a shopping spree, you guys. We have had our last frost, unless something very strange happens. And this morning was our last low in the 40s. Everything else in our 2-week forecast is in the 50s and 60s. And it would be highly unlikely for us to drop massively this time of year after that 2 weeks. So we went up to our local feed mill and bought some plants. I've showed you guys my seed starting. I want to make sure you knew I'm not above buying a plant. And I think I showed you guys in my video where I was up potting tomatoes. I had one just really sad little Cherokee purple tomato. I don't know what the deal was, why it wasn't thriving, but I actually knocked its only leaf off on that day. And it actually has put a new leaf on, but the plant is still about this big and just really sad. So I just went and bought a Cherokee purple tomato. I don't know if it's some kind of initiative for the state of Alabama, but I've seen these little purple cups at a couple of local nurseries, and the tag says Alabama grown. See if you can see that. And this plant was $2, which it's a little bit smaller than if you got like a Bonnie plant, but I mean, come on, $2 for a tomato plant is fantastic. Bonnie plants cost like $6 where I live. So another thing I was super excited to find in the Alabama grown for $2 category was pineapple sage. I love pineapple sage. I don't know if you can even grow this from seeds. I've tried to look and I haven't seen them from any growers that I buy from, like any seed companies. But I normally end up paying like $6 or $7 for a pineapple sage, and they have the $2 cups. So I splurged this year and I got 2 of them because I love, like, absolutely love just walking through the garden, pulling off a leaf, crushing it in my hands and smelling it. But also in the fall, when it starts putting on the flowers, it's just so beautiful. I will throw a clip in here of what it looked like last year because I don't know if you all will have seen that. So if you haven't seen the pineapple sage, we'll add it in right here. I also went ahead and decided to supplement my dill because I need a lot this year. These plants definitely need out of these little cups, but these were $3.50 for 6 plants in these little cups. So I did go ahead and buy some yellow squash and zucchini just because I know those things tend to do better from seed, but given that I always lose them to pests, I thought if I could start with some plants, maybe we would get squash before the squash bugs and the vine borers get to my squash. But I also got this 6-pack of eggplants. My eggplants did not germinate well this year, and I only got like 2 eggplants. And we love eggplants. We love baba ganoush. We love fried eggplant. We like eggplant caponata. So we need plenty of eggplants. And this grower was doing some things I'd never heard of. This one is called a Santana eggplant. And I looked it up. I think it must be some kind of hybrid, but it said it's really productive. And I thought, why not? Let's give it a try. So my plan today is to plant some of this stuff. And then I think I'm going to try working on some more of my garden extension as well. We've hit the time of year where my attention is really kind of divided between both areas. So I'm going to get to planting. I got all of my plants planted except for one of my, what's it called? One of my pineapple sages. I think based on the one I planted, I'm going to need to up pot it because the roots were starting to get a little bit bound. But I think I would like to put that second one in the new garden area, which is not ready yet. So we'll up pot it and just make sure it's happy until we have a place to plant it that we want. But I thought I'd show you guys. I planted some yellow squash here. These are called laser yellow squash. I think, again, some kind of hybrid. I don't mind. If you watch the video where I talked about the seeds I was going to start, I never really got around to it. I planted some extra dill that I went ahead and purchased. These are more laser squash. Look at how tall our peas are getting. We'll come down here to the east bed, and I planted some zucchini. These were some kind of spineless zucchini. So I planted them in here. A couple of them are kind of interplanted with my radishes, but I think that'll be okay. And then I planted my 6 eggplants here. So we are going to try something a little bit new to us this year. We're going to utilize a lot more tomato cages because our eggplants tend to get real heavy and lay on the ground. And so we are going to put them in tomato cages. So I've sort of thrown my garden plan a little bit out the window. We were originally going to have this bed be full of tomatillos, but my tomatillos are not hardened off yet. I'm actually going to start that today, the hardening off process. But since we found this great deal on all of these plants, we didn't want to pass up the chance to get them. And so I put them in this area, and I just really have to get working on the other garden area. So we'll have somewhere to put plants soon. The last thing I planted is that Cherokee purple tomato. I got some compost put down. I added some fertilizer and got it nice and deeply planted here. I had to pull out quite a bit of my bolting cilantro in order to do that. But you can see I still have some of it. I really love to let my cilantro go to seed. Number one, I actually think the flowers are beautiful, and I will use quite a bit of them in like bouquets because I just think they're pretty and they make a good filler. But I also never plant cilantro anymore. It just comes up voluntarily in my garden, and it's one of my favorite herbs. So I pulled what I needed to be able to have sunshine on that tomato plant, but I left some so we still get the best of both worlds. I do need to come out here and pick more chive blossoms. Aren't they gorgeous? I need to do a harvest of oregano also, and my chocolate mint is starting to come on really nicely as well. You guys, we made a really big step forward here. So I got a whole bunch of the landscape fabric down, and we got all 4 of our L-shaped beds that we have put together. And so this is what one side of the greenhouse is going to look like. So we sort of had to do some finagling. We bought a bundle of beds, and their layout didn't really work for us. So we made our own layout. There was one other thing that I wanted to talk about in regards to this, because these are 18-inch deep beds, which is a whole lot of soil necessary. I think we figured out total for the beds we currently have, we're going to need about 10 cubic yards of stuff to fill the beds. But we are going to try and mitigate some of that cost by getting a chip drop and filling several inches, 6 to 8 inches probably, with wood chips in the bottom, because it's a little bit like the hugel culture method, and they'll break down eventually and it will drop the level of the soil. But we normally amend with compost every year, and so not a big deal that the soil will drop and we need to add a little bit more to the top. But I thought I would address that because this is a whole lot of soil that we need to fill these beds up. So we'll get up here a little bit closer, and you can see we have 4 L-shaped beds. The space that we had did not allow us for walkways, so we kind of put them together like 2 different U's, and then we have a 3-foot walkway here in the middle, and our round bed there. So you can see I'm really excited about this. And then the round bed is going to have a fig tree in it. So I don't know enough about figs really to know how big they get every year. Where we live, I'm pretty sure that they mostly die back to the ground every year. But I think that they grow back to like the fig we bought is a 4 to 6 foot size fig. So it'll sort of spill out of the bed if it gets to 6 feet. But I think that's going to be really beautiful. It'll also be 4 to 6 feet tall. So I'm very excited about this. We bought a fig called a ruby fig. The other thing I was going to say, you know what? I'm going to go get in the shade. I had to seek some shade under our peach tree. But I just wanted to encourage you guys, if you are considering buying some raised beds like these metal beds, we bought these as a bundle. And so there was some extra savings because we bought a bundle. But the big thing is like this bundle in particular, it came with a picture of a layout. And you don't have to be beholden to that. Like that layout didn't work with the space we had available. And so we came up with our own layout, but it was worth it to get those beds with the extra discount for doing the bundle. So just some thoughts. But I think that's where we're going to call it today. We've had a really busy couple of days. So thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and I'll see you next time. Bye.